Hello chess lovers, Soren here, and in today's video we're going to analyze a very dramatic game played between Mexican chess player Carlos Torre and American chess player Frank Parker. Parker won the 4th Marshall Chess Club Championship in 1920. This game was played in 1924 during a 10-board Simul which Torre was giving in Marshall Chess Club in New York. With this being said, now we can go for the game. Torre opened up with e4, to which Parker answered with e5. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4. Italian game is on the board, which black is choosing two nice defense. d4, it takes d4, white castled kingside, and thus the game is transposed to Scotch Gambit, Du Bois right defense. Bishop c5, e5, d5. And white is winning black knight. In return, black is winning white bishop, but now white will start putting pressure down the open e-file using the fact that still black king is stuck in the center. Knight g5 hitting on e6, queen d5. Of course not queen takes f6, because after an exchange on e6, white has this queen h5 check and black is losing a piece. That's why in our game after knight g5 we have queen d5 answer, and relying on the pin, white is developing his queenside knight. Queen goes on f5, knight ce4, black castled queenside, and g4. Torre is playing very aggressively, but of course he has to be very careful because at any moment he can find himself overexposed. An exchange on e6 followed, and f takes g7. Black can't recapture because the bishop will hang, that's why we have rook hg8 answer, and white protected that pawn, which has already reached the 7th rank and is a menace to black's security. Bishop d6. Not the best move, too passive, you know. Better is playing d3 and opening up the dark squared bishop's diagonal. This is a very active try, of course, but instead we have a passive bishop d7 move hitting on h2. With f4, white neutralized the threat. Queen a5, queen f3, queen d5, g5, bishop c5, king g2, preventing a discovered check. Bishop e7 and knight f6. White is now forcing black to capture on f6, thus this gives white a chance of connecting the pawns. And yes, once white is getting two passed pawns already, black is in trouble, in deep trouble. Rook f5 and rook takes e6. Not a good move. Better was just playing bishop g5. If here, then bishop h4. And here is the problem with rook takes e6. After knight d8, now if you move away your rook, then you will lose this pawn on f6. In here, instead of touching his rook, Torre decided to go for an exchange sacrifice. Rook e1. Black naively took on e6, but this is not the strongest continuation. Better was playing d3. In return, trying to get a passed pawn, and yeah, at any moment if white moves away the rook, then can lose the pawn on f6. No need to hurry with knight takes e6. Instead, knight takes e6 was made in the game, and only then black played d3. C takes d3, c takes d3, king f2, white king is hurrying to neutralize that pawn. Rook d8, king d1. The pawn is tabbed, but now comes rook c5, threatening rook c1 check, and then d1 queen. And it was in here that Torre made a painful decision and he resigned. Torre resigned, but actually now it's white who is winning. Please pause the video and try to find the winning continuation for white. Ready? Well, look, right now there is this rook c1 threat, right, as I mentioned earlier. And at this point, turns out that rook d6 is the move which is allowing white to win. Rook c1 is no longer a threat, you can win the pawn. And if you capture on d6. If you accept the rook sacrifice, then just f7, and the d file is blocked, the pawn is not protected, this threat is not lethal, it's not a threat at all, you know, it's white who is winning. And at this point, if for example rook takes d6, then your 8th rank is no longer covered and white can go for a queen promotion with a check, and here is one of the possible ways how white can win. And then queen e3, pinning the rook and neutralizing it. If king b5, then just queen takes c5 and then f7. White is winning. But Torre missed this brilliant rook d6 move, which is probably, yes, is easy to miss, and resigned. What a painful resignation, right guys? You are resigning in a position which is winning. Let us know in the comment section, please. Did you manage to find this move? Will be very interesting. And in the end, a thematic chess puzzle where black resigned, but actually it's too early to think about a resignation. It's black to move. How would you proceed? We'll wait for your answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in my next video. Take care.